Okay, Megan.
Yeah.
And how old are you, Megan?
I'm 38. I'll be 39 in a week or so.
Oh, wow, awesome, awesome.
Yeah,
Well, happy birthday if I don't see you.
yeah,
What's going on with life right now?
yeah. Nothing much. Just kind of out here. Well, I have my place to stay. I mean, don't get me wrong. And it only lasts so long, but I'm trying to get housing. But I just did acting, and every time I called and like updated my stuff, and it's just like an everlasting waiting list
Yeah.
for me. So I'm thinking about going down through Kodak though and seeing if I can get like housing to them because they're pretty quick about it. They're adamant about it. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
probably gonna go do that today or tomorrow or something like that.
So you living out here right now?
Yeah,
Just
kind of on and off, kind of couch surfing. You
yeah.
know?
Okay. Yeah. At least you have that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'm blessed for that. In
Yeah.
that
So,
sense.
so where are you from?
I'm from, well, kind of Tucson, pretty much. I didn't really, I've always believed I was from here. I was born and raised. That's what my parents told me. I was born at Tucson General. Doesn't even exist anymore. But
Oh, okay. Okay.
when I was like 13, 14. I kind of, I don't know. I like went off the edge. I really wasn't interested in school. I was going to high school, and I felt like it was really redundant what I was getting taught. And I was just a really rebellious little kid. Um, I didn't want to. I don't know. It was hard for me to stay focused. But then when I went through college later on in life, I got straight A's. But when I was in high school, I just couldn't do
Oh,
it.
okay.
But when I was younger, I was when I was a kid, and I don't really use it much of a crutch now from what I used to be like. I've worked through my addiction and everything else. I don't use that like oh poor me.
Like an excuse.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
use an excuse anymore. But I grew up over here off of Dodge and Flower when I was a young kid. I think a lot of it, before I knew that had effect on me, I think that's what did affect me and why I started using, is because I was trying to hide it and not tell anybody about it, not accept it for what it was, not grow from it. So that's what made me basically turn down, you know.
Yeah.
So I
How do you
started,
think that affected you?
um,
Like at that time, like at your worst?
uh, it held me back. Like it didn't let me. I became really antisocial when I was a little kid, and when I started doing it, I was really like a closet. Like I didn't tell anybody I was doing it. I didn't tell my parents. I started smoking cigarettes, smoking weed when I was like 12 years old, and then I started doing ecstasy, acid, and ketamine when I was like 13,
Yeah.
and I didn't tell anybody. And I just kept it to myself. Not that my parents were stupid and didn't know what was going on. They knew. I'm pretty sure they knew. Maybe they didn't know right away, but
Yeah.
it took some time. But,
Yeah. Yeah. I got you. So, what type of things do you experience out here being a female?
Uh, ooh. It's just different things. Sometimes it's a little harder being on my own because I don't have a partner or anything like that. So I'm by myself. I panhandle a lot. It's kind of hard, but sometimes guys are really unbecoming, and it's rough around the edges. I've had some sideways experiences which I never for the life of me. Like I probably wouldn't change. They're not necessarily bad, but they probably got me be a better person and grow up as an adult. Because being stuck in my addiction, like there are still things that I never could grasp and grow and get along in life. I'd still be stuck where I wouldn't be able to, recognize that I need housing, recognize this, you know what I mean? It took me a while to get there, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I'm glad to hear that you're taking advantage of the resources.
yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah.
waiting on housing, and sounds like you know all about the behavioral health centers like COPES, La Frontera's, and all that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
That's really good. So tell me a situation or experience that you've had that was just crazy, that just happened out of nowhere.
I don't know.
Since you've been homeless.
When I was younger, I was like 14, 15 years old, and at that time I was only doing speed, and I did acid every now and then. I got out of the rave scene a little bit by then, and one of my friends came up to me and he's like, "Let's go to California," and little did I know, I have a thing, I have a bad habit of sleepwalking, and I had dropped some acid and we were on the beaches and stuff like that, and I had dropped some acid and I guess I fell asleep and I started sleepwalking, and if it wasn't for him coming and finding me, I probably would have got left there.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was pretty rough around the edges.
Where'd he find you?
He found me down the beach. I was walking
Wow.
down the beach. I didn't have my shoes on. I had some clothes on, but You know, he noticed that I was gone. He woke up and he's like, "Where's the book? Where's the
That's
book?"
wild,
Yeah,
man.
but I was lucky. I was lucky and blessed that he did find me and somebody else didn't find me. You
Facts,
know?
facts.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Which
So when you're just blacked out at that time when you're
I was sleep.
sleepwalking, basically,
Yeah,
just out asleep, right?
yeah.
And then when you wake up, how was that experience?
I didn't know where I was. I was like disoriented. So I
Yeah.
was like, "What the heck?"
Why am I at the beach?
Yeah, I was like, how
That's
did I get
crazy.
here? So I started tripping out. I cried a little, and I was
Yeah.
like, "You're gonna be okay. It's okay. We'll go back to the car. We'll leave right now." So then we left back. We got back here, and
Yeah.
everything was good. You know.
Wow. Does that still happen? Like, do you still experience that sleepwalking?
Yeah, sometimes. I was like, I sometimes do it, not much anymore. I used to, up about 10 years ago, I used to unlock the deadbolt and go out front. I used to, with my boyfriend.
Wow.
I would wake up in the middle of the night, and God dang, my homies would drive by, because they'd take me back inside and be like, "Hey, wake up, you gotta lock the door."
Wow.
She got out again.
So wow, that's so interesting. Would you sleepwalk? Like, say, for example, if you were out drinking or just partying, would you ever sleepwalk then? Or were you
I
just out?
No, like I have to be home, go to bed, and then like wake up. Like
Yeah.
I guess I'd wake up and just like I don't know what I was looking for, what I was doing, but it would take me outside, and I'd be all like standing out in the front yard. Just I was lucky though that at that time that no freaking crazy killer was around me.
Seriously.
I'd be done, son.
Yeah. So since you're like these days, like, are you scared at all? Just being out here?
But yeah, I get
Is it
nervous.
scary?
It is, because you never know what you're gonna run across. You never know who's around. You never know what people's ambitions are, and it's not that I try to find out what people's ambitions are. It's just I do me basically, and I try to steer clear and mind my p's and q's. And as long as I do that, I don't lose out on nothing. You know, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna end up in the end with nothing. You know, or no one. You know.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. I was huge in the rave scene too, like early 2000s, big time. Going to the underground raves, you'd have to call a number like an hour before it starts, and they'll let you know where it is.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that was my scene too.
Yeah, I was all up into that.
Some good times back
Yeah,
then.
yeah,
Like,
really
really
good
good
times.
times.
Yeah, it was so fun. I used to love doing that. I love going to parties
Yeah.
downtown and stuff like that. I used to do that a lot with my friends too. We'd all get together and we'd go out to desert scenes. The last party I went to was like Audio Dreams, I believe, and I was doing at the time. And I mean, pretty much I kind of
Yeah.
like I kind of got lost in a K-hole.
Me
I was
too. Me
lucky.
too. I couldn't move. I was sitting on the
I was
couch.
looking at my friends. I was sitting
Yeah.
on the ground and I was like, I couldn't see anything. I was like, what's going on? I could see, but I couldn't comprehend the cops were coming because they were busting the party up. And I was lucky that my friend grasped me up because the cop came and he pulled in right where I was sitting.
Wow.
I was like, damn, I don't think he would have seen me either.
Yep.
So I was lucky.
That was one of the scariest days of my life. The K-hole.
Yeah,
I'd sit
yeah.
there stuck on a couch, just looking straight ahead.
Yeah.
You know.
Can't
That
say
was like-
nothing, just like stuck on dirt.
Yeah, like I was saying, I went to treatment before these beans came out, and then I started hearing about them. Like 2020-ish around there. Um, why do you think there's so many youngsters out there on the streets now? Because when I was out here running around, like pre-2018, I didn't rarely saw youngsters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Now
it
it's
was-
like a bunch of young people in groups, just randomly. Like,
I think they see what we do, they see what we did when we were younger, when we were into raves and stuff, and we might have been too out flamboyant about it, like spoken about it. You know what I mean? I maybe not. Maybe it's just the way that the world is nowadays. Like I know when I was younger, my grandma used to stress about how people sit in front of the TV and how it would just burn up our minds, how we need to get out. And maybe she wasn't lying. Maybe that's what got us to it. Like where we didn't utilize the things around us enough to where we see that we were actually more useful.
Yeah.
Being around the house or whatever may have you. I know that I went to rehab for my addiction. Like I successfully completed a place, and I was lucky I got that. But it was fun, and that's what really got me up on my feet and taught me that I need to get away from it. Now I do it because it's a fallback. And I tried to not fall. It wasn't my fallback plan. It was just a fallback, just something to do. I get bored super easy, and I don't want to be like that. I need to. I think it has to do a lot with the people that we surround ourselves with, and what we surround ourselves with. If you grew up here, it might be a little harder, but you can always use it as a crutch to be able to grow off of instead of not be like.
How many beans do you go through a day?
Now, not that much. I used to go through like 50,
Oh,
60 a
okay.
day, but now like it's not even that. That's not that much. But I mean, I now probably like 10, 15, even if that,
Yeah.
depending on the day and how ambitious I am.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I hear
Uh,
the price is going up. I hear they're different potency, and
yeah, it was for a while there. They weren't that good. There's a lot of talk like how people are just like tired of it because there's so many people ODing on them. So a lot of people are just like not wanting to distribute them. Like
yeah,
they don't want to deal with them anymore because it's so fucking bad, and that's why the prices are going up because nobody wants to pay. People are like, they look at it, they're like, this is just like nothing for like $4 or $5, and like people don't want to pay that much. So a lot of people are just quitting, you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
They're
Makes
going.
sense. Do you think a lot of people are passing due to dehydration or from using, or both maybe?
I think, well, I think it has to do with both a little bit because a lot of the times when you're in an addiction and you're getting high, you don't pay attention to the things that our bodies need. We should, but it takes a little while to get there. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Do you think they changed you as a person?
yeah,
Really?
it's there as a person and my attributes in life probably a lot
Yeah.
towards. I probably wouldn't be so. I'm more shy and like I keep to myself a lot. And when I'm not in my addiction, I'm more of an outspoken person and I'm more adamant about stuff.
Yeah.
So.
So two more questions. If there was a family out there or a mother wondering why their kid can't stop using, what would you tell her? Like, why do you think? Why is it that we can't stop using? Because I
uh,
couldn't. It took me 13 years.
Well, I couldn't answer for that person, but I would tell her if you can sit down and talk to them because it's not. It might not be. It's probably not about family. It's probably, and that's one of my biggest things. If my kid was using, because I have kids, so if my kid was using, I would think, well, we need to figure out why first, you know. And I would sit down and talk to him, and if he ever said it was about me, maybe I'd look at myself. But if I couldn't sit down and talk to my kid about it and I couldn't get to him at the time, I would just look at it and be like, well, it would be like I think about my addiction and my surroundings and why I do it. It's not about my surroundings, it's not about the people. It's that I enjoy myself. I'm
Yeah.
older now, so it's a little bit different. But I don't know. I would think if she wanted to change, I don't know, maybe how she could help him. I would think that maybe I think definitely different brands, different. Make sure the kid like has something to do, keep him busy or occupied. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Give him some fun things to do. You know what I mean? That are worth it. That's what kids look for nowadays. It's what I would look for if I was a kid.
Yeah.
I would want something to do that kept me busy.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Thinking ahead, like of the future. What do you want to happen?
I want to give up. Me personally, I would want to give up the streets and like probably like get back to school. It's something I've been trying to.
Like college?
Yeah, yeah.
What do you want to do there?
I didn't know. I went into medical assisting, and I went through some medical school, and I wanted to go through medical when I was younger, but now I kind of want to go through science. I find it more and more often than not. I've lost a couple of friends to cancer and stuff like that. So if I was going to school, I would go for probably like some kind of like medicine,
Okay.
like medicine and science, so I
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
put it together.
Yeah. Yeah. So, last question: when your housing gets granted, how do you think it's going to look if you're still using?
It wouldn't look good.
I know a lot of people I interview are waiting for housing, but I always wonder like what happens when you get housing. It's gonna
Like,
be hard.
yeah,
You know?
if I get housing, I'd be like, I'd probably set it all aside. I'd find more of a reason just to get off of them. I'd probably go out and get on Suboxone or something like that if I had
Yeah.
housing. But right now, it's like it's kind of I won't lie, it's kind of like a crutch because it helps me get by day, and I'm kind of more depressed than anything. It's part of the reason why I use,
Yeah. Yep.
So that's
Helps you cope out here.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
get it. Well, thank you. If any family or friends see this, do you want to say anything to them?
Yeah, I love him. Yeah, I miss him.
When was the last time you seen your kids?
That was a couple weeks ago.
Oh, sweet, sweet.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
No, it goes good.
Yeah.
I see him every now and then.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, thank you so much for your story. I'll give you my card. If you ever, you know where all the resources are. So I always offer my assistance if and when the people I interview are ready, they could always call me up and I could help them find a place to go or answer
Okay.
questions. But yeah, I'll give you my card anyway. Has my number on there. And if you ever need anything, just give me a call.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Thank you for your story.
Yep.